Hey guys, my name is Caitlin and welcome back to my channel. Oh, my window's open, I better shut that. So I'm in a very different position than I normally film in. I'm normally over there, that's where my bookshelves are. But the floor over there is a little occupied at the moment and I can't currently film over there. So here we are. Now, apologies if this video isn't very good or it's not very long. I actually haven't planned this video whatsoever. I wasn't even planning to film a video today, but I haven't been consistent with my uploading at all just because work has been crazy. Without further ado, let's get into it. Today, we are going back to my 2021 favorite reads. I am really excited to see what is on this list. I haven't checked in a while, so I'm keen. Now, apologies for any glare. I'm just going to be looking at these on my laptop. For the past 2 years, so 2020 and 2021, I've created like a favorites shelf on my Goodreads page. So every book that I'm like, this was fantastic, I loved it to pieces. Normally all of my 5-star reads, because I don't have too many of them, end up on this list. All right, let's have a look. It says there are 11 books on this shelf. I do know though that there is one series that I forgot to put on here, so we might have to round that up to 12. Now, I'm not going to go through all the blurbs and everything like I normally do in recommendations videos, just because that is going to take me forever and I really don't have the time to do it today. So I might summarize little bits here and there if I can remember, but pretty much I just want to talk you through what my favorite books were last year. And yeah, okay, so the first one on this list is Beautiful and Terrible Things by Riley Hart. No way I read that last year. Okay, well, January 1st. So it was the first book that I finished in 2021. I rated it 4.5 stars. I remember it going in a completely different direction than I thought it would. So every other Riley Hart book I'd read had kind of been low angst, and then I delved into this expecting it to be kind of along the same lines, and it really wasn't. So from what I can remember, we follow two boys who were friends in their childhood and then realized that their feelings kind of ran a little bit deeper, and so they were together. But one of the boys, his dad was part of, I don't know if it was the sheriff's department or he was just a cop, but he was in law enforcement in a small town. He had a lot of sway and he was also very homophobic. So he knew that this boy knew that he couldn't really go to anyone because no one's going to go against his father. I remember that there was one night where they were hanging out because the cop was meant to be gone, but he came home early and caught them together and started getting really abusive, and out of self-defense, the boyfriend has hit the father, and I don't know whether he hit his head on the way down or he hit him hard enough, but the father died, and the two got split up for years because one of them had to go to jail and the other was meant to live his life, and neither of those things really happened. I mean, he went to jail, but the other one didn't exactly live his life. So yeah, it is definitely not low angst. But it was such a beautiful story. I absolutely loved the way that it was written. I remember that much. I remember reading some of those lines and thinking, these are like so profound and they sound so wise. And I was like, how the hell? I wanted to be a writer at one point. I would never be able to write like that, so props to Riley Hart. All right, book 2 on this list is Home Plate by Christina Lee. So this is book 2 in her Eastern U Pirate series. I actually filmed a reading vlog while I was reading this, but I didn't remember that I put it on my 2021 favorites list. So I gave this book 5 stars. I loved it. It is a college-based, enemies to lovers, baseball athletes type book. I loved it, man. I loved this book more than book 1. So if you're into baseball and you kind of you're looking for another book, I would recommend this one. What did I mark it as? Athletes, Awaken Sexuality, It Made Me Cry, and Set in College. Okay, I don't remember crying in this book. Apparently I did. That's fun. Ooh, book 3 actually isn't an MM romance, for one. I think that's the only book on this list that isn't, and that is Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I know there was a little bit of controversy going on about this book last year sometime. I don't know what it was about though. I think it was about something Jay Kristoff said, but it was one of those things where everyone was like, oh, it happened, but no one really spoke about what actually happened, and so I still have no idea why people were kind of like, you can't read that book because he's bad. I loved it either way. I read it before anything like that happened. I read the whole trilogy. I was obsessed with it. I loved it. I'm not one for sci-fi. I generally hate it. I rated all 3 of these books 5 stars because they were just fantastic. They made me cry. They got me back into YA. Like, they were just so much better than I thought they would be. Like, truly, if you're looking for YA sci-fi and you haven't read that yet, get on it. Oh, okay, book 4 was kind of a given. This is The Jock by Tal Bauer. 5 stars. Obviously, I feel like this was on so many people's 2021 favorites lists. How could it not be? Like, I think I've only seen like a handful of reviews of people who were among the minority who didn't really enjoy the book. Everyone else loved it, I'm pretty sure. It's not low angst. I wouldn't say that. It made me sob. It broke my heart multiple times, put it back together again, broke it again, and for some reason, I still love it. I have the paperback, but it's all the way over there and I can't really be bothered going to get it. What do we mark this as? 5-star read. First time, good makeup scene, made me cry, protagonist gets injured, roommates, set in college. Okay, well those are the tropes if you haven't read this book yet. I doubt that you haven't, but if you haven't, get on it. I still haven't read book 2. I need to change that. Ooh, okay. Book 5 on this list, Dear Mr Brody by A.M. Johnson. I didn't realize I put that on this list, but is it a shocker really? No, because I loved it. So this is book 3 in her For Him series. It's one of those, they're texting online, not realizing that they actually know each other in person because they're both remaining anonymous. But it's also a student-teacher romance because you've got Mr Brody, who is, you know, a teacher, he is a father, he is recently divorced and exploring his sexuality, so he gets on this dating app. And then you've got Parker, who is his student, also on this dating app, very mature and confident in his sexuality. Put the two of them together, it's pretty explosive. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. What else can I say? What did I put this as? Age gap, awakened sexuality, forbidden relationships, and student teacher. Ooh, Psycho by Only James. Kind of surprised Unhinged isn't on this list, which is book 1. Psycho is book 2 in the Necessary Evil series. I gave it 5 stars. I'm so excited for the rest of this series, honestly. Like, all the Mulvaney brothers, done. It's probably, I'm calling it now. They're all gonna be 5 stars, I'm telling you. I've talked about Psycho so many times in my recent videos, so I'm not really going to go through it again. But pretty much the whole Mulvaney family, they're all psychopaths, they're all trained killers, and they're all trying to like pretend to be normal in society, and each of them are getting their own little romance. That was so bad, I'm so sorry. If you want to know what that book is about, I think it's in, I know I talked about it in my anticipated releases video, it was in quite a few recommendations videos, and also a wrap-up video. So I'm sure if you click on any of my videos at random, I'm probably talking about this book. Next, I've forgotten what number we're up to. We have the Dare to Try trilogy by Ella Frank and Brooke Blaine. Oh, I loved it. I gave all 3 of those books 5 stars. I also talked about that in a wrap-up video, I think, and a reading vlog. Damn, how often do I repeat myself on this channel? What did I mark this as? Awakened Sexuality, Firefighter, Friends to Lovers. It was so good. If you've read any of Ella and Brooke's other books, you've probably read this one. If you haven't, you don't need to read their other books first. But certain things will make more sense because it's all kind of featured in this big I was gonna say like a multiverse. Yeah, it's all set in this big world, and all the characters know each other. They're all kind of connected in some way, and you don't need to read them, but certain things will make sense. Oh, yep, I knew this one was on here. We have Lord of Eternal Night by Ben Alderson. This was one of, I was gonna say it was an anticipated release, and it was, but for some reason I didn't pick it up for months after it came out. But when I did, I gave it 5 stars. I sped through it. I would have read it in one sitting if I hadn't started it at 10 o'clock at night because I had to go to bed. But yeah, I feel like I always summarize this book the same way. It is Beauty and the Beast retelling, but with witches and vampires, and make it gay, and it was just fabulous. Not much else to say about that, is there? Ooh, next, Off Limits by Riley Hart, book 1 in a series. Hold up, has she mentioned anything else? Don't mind me just getting completely distracted on Goodreads while I'm trying to film a YouTube video. Ooh, okay, we have a title for a book 2 after Off Limits called Pushing the Limits, but I don't think there's no blurb or anything just yet, but either way I'm keen. Off Limits is a sister's ex-boyfriend type video. I definitely filmed a reading vlog while I was reading this one. I don't remember which video it was though. Honestly, that was another kind of like what I said with Dear Mr Brody, where they're texting each other or messaging one another without realizing that they also know each other in person, because while they were developing a relationship through just their texts on this app, They were also developing a bit of a friendship in person after running into one another. So you've got these two completely different styles of relationships forming. And then when they figure out that they are one and the same, it's explosive. Okay, before I talk about the last series on here, because it was the very last book that I read in 2021, I do want to talk about the series that I forgot to put on here, and I honestly don't know how I did it, which is the Temptation series by Ella Frank. How did I forget to put that on this list? I have no idea. So I first read this book in I think either June or July of 2021. After reading that, I read all 6 books, and then I went into the Confession series. I loved it. I've already reread the Temptation series 2 or 3 times. No shame. But that is another series that I've spoken about several times on this channel, so we're not going to delve into that again. The last book, or technically 2 books, because they're part of the same series, but I put 2 of those books on my favorites list, and those are 2 books from the Big Bad Wolf series by Charlie Adhara. When I tell you I didn't expect to love this book, so I was going to actually read this book months ago, and then I went to buy it on Amazon or see if they had it on Kindle Unlimited, and I don't know about other parts of the world, but in Australia it was $15 just to buy the Kindle version, which is a bit expensive. I decided I wasn't going to read it, but then I came back to it last month and was like, you know what, I really do want to read it. It sounds good, the reviews are pretty good, I'm gonna give it a shot. And I ended up downloading it. If you watch my last video, the cut and run reading vlog, when I was raving about Libby, which is this e-platform that I can get through a library, and I'm pretty sure majority of libraries you can get it from, even if you're outside of Australia. Libby ended up having this entire series, except for book 2, because someone already had it out, so I did end up buying that one. No regrets though, because I honestly loved it. I loved it so much more than I thought I would. I was obsessed. If they had the paperback copies, I would have just impulse bought all 5 of them as soon as possible, because it was just amazing. I haven't spoken about this series on my channel before, so this is completely new for this video, so I'll try and summarize it a little bit if I can. I'm probably not going to do it justice. Nice and quick, let's try and summarize this and not do a horrible job. Werewolves have existed alongside humans for a very long time, but they've only recently come out to certain authorities because with the development of the modern world, there are certain things that they're struggling to keep hidden, so they need a little bit of help from law enforcement, which is where the BSI comes in, which is the Bureau of Special Investigations. They're a branch of the FBI that is the only branch that knows about the existence of werewolves. Everyone else is just completely ignorant, and our main character works for the BSI, and he is partnered with a werewolf agent for this case, and it's just so much fun. But anyway, I'm going to end this video because I think I'm just rambling at this point, and really it had no direction whatsoever. So if you watched it, thanks. I hope you got some recommendations maybe. This was more of just a sit down and have a chat than anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back next week with an actually planned video that will hopefully be better than this one, and I'll see you then. Bye.